we're exactly where we need to be. We stressed a few key points to the group before we came out, and they went out and did a really nice job of executing and making sure they had a solid day of getting better and getting us one day closer, even though it was day one.
How do you feel about Zach?
Zach Gallen, you talking about?
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to see him. Exchanged text with him a couple nights ago, and it's just good to get back into the mix with him and be able to say that he's ours and an Arizona Diamondback. And I'm sure he shared a little bit with you guys. It was probably a very restless time for him, but now that he's here, we couldn't be more pleased. I know you guys want to know what it means. I don't know what it means, and I really don't want to even think about it. I don't care to think about it with the excess starters I know we've had here in the past, and last year we were looking for starters at a certain point early in the season. So just getting Zach back here, seeing him back in our uniform was a very comforting feeling for me personally, and I'm sure the rest of the coaching staff.
How rewarding is it for you as a manager to have Zach come out and say just how important it was that, if he's going to make good, work with people like yourself, with Kev, with the organization here.
Yeah.
You spoke a lot about that earlier.
That's nice. I appreciate that. Usually the proof is in what the players say and do as far as how they're getting coached. And I've been with Zach for so long that we know how to talk to one another. I know how he wants to be coached, and I'm sure there's a certain comfort that every player or pitcher wants to have when they are recirculating back into a mix that they know that they can just pick up right where they left off. He was ready, I know, through some of my earlier conversations in the offseason, he was ready to move elsewhere. But I'm sure once he started to make that decision that this was his home, and we love Zach. And whatever he needs from us, we're going to go out there and make him the best version of himself.
What was your message to the team today, Torey?
A lot of the things that I've been sharing with you guys, I was able to put it together in one conversation. And little things matter. We're the Diamondbacks, and we're gritty. We're prepared, and you can't focus on anything other than right now and where you're at. So be great where your feet are at. I highlighted some of the thoughts that I know I've shared with you guys about what I want us to look like defensively, offensively, and from a pitching standpoint. I targeted some of the younger guys about what I want to see out of them. So I was able to define a lot of what I wanted. I gave them the answers to the test, is always what I want to do. And it's up to them to go out there and make sure they study for that exam the right way.
What are you doing different? Because it's not like you went into last year not working on defense in the spring. So what are you doing differently that's actually manifests itself other than talking?
Yeah, it's a good question. We are, first of all, creating an awareness and a standard that we have upheld here, and we fell below that standard. Now, it spiked at the second half of the year, and it made our defensive numbers look a little bit better. Our pitching got a little bit better. I don't want to have a bad week. I don't want to have a bad month. I want to make sure that we're going out there and firing on all cylinders and doing the little things that we did at the end of last season even better at the start of spring training. So what does that mean? I think there's an awareness, there's intent, there's a lot of high intensity work that's going on, and we'll stop a drill to instruct. We will stop a drill to highlight what it looked like if it's right or wrong, especially if it's wrong. We're going to teach it right there on the spot. We are creating some urgency by staying on top of every little thing that they're doing.
There are famous stories of Peyton Manning, you don't leave the field until I say we're done.
Yeah.
How much of that is your job, and how much of that job is actually your leader's job to set the tone defensively and not really yours?
Okay. I tell the coaches what I want, and in certain cases like today, I tell the players what I want, and I kind of watch it happen in real time and see what it's like. Now, the coaches will stop the play and say, get it right and do it the way we need to do it. Everything's timed here. I want to make sure that we stay on a time frame because there's like 2 or 3 camps moving in one, but we'll get to that point. If I don't like it, we're going to go do it again. And what I explained to them today is that traditionally we do team fundamentals A, B, C, and D, and E. Well, on a given week, we're going to do A until we get A right. And we might do A again tomorrow, and that'll be at my discretion.
Will you have to slow play Zach at all, just given that he's sort of a week behind? I know he was doing work on his own, but hasn't been in the building with you guys.
That's a good point, because I know where he's been. He said he's thrown 5 bullpens, but there's just a little bit different intensity to getting out here, putting on our uniform, and doing things with all the data and the cameras on him. So we're gonna evaluate. He's gonna throw his first pen with us, which will be his 6th pen since the new year. But we're gonna watch him closely, and then we'll just read and react based on the information he gives us and shows us. And you rely on a different mindset. You rely on a different experience from a guy like Zach. He knows what he needs, and we're gonna make sure we hit it just right.
Did everyone report to camp who you expected to be here?
Yes, everybody's here. Everybody's here. Correct.
Torey, how cool is it to have guys like Zach and Merrill back for 8th season now with you? I mean,
Yeah.
just that continuity.
Love it. I love it. Those are guys that we've kind of matured together, and in some way I helped raise inside of this Arizona Diamondback culture. So I love my relationship with those guys. I appreciate how hard they work. Nobody knows what they do behind the scenes. You guys do, of course, but they go out there and execute at a high level because they prepare well. They have a championship mentality, and we're all aligned. And that takes time to get to that point. So, yeah, I'm honored to be their manager, and that's what I've told them in different points in time, that the fact I get to share a dugout with them will mean and will continue to mean a lot to me.
Are there any new health or injury updates beyond the ones we already know about?
No. Yes and no. I probably have a couple of updates. I know somebody asked me about Locklear a couple days ago. Locklear is probably a mid-May, June return, that type of thing. He's doing minimal baseball activity. Del Castillo is still not fully functioning inside of drills. I've seen him at certain drills on his knees or doing different things that are taking the weight off of his lower half, but still not up for full baseball activity.
What is his injury? I'm sorry.
It was a left calf. Yeah, left calf. So those are just some quick updates. But nothing has jumped up at us like the Sal Frank news was fresh news to us, but nothing like that.
Torey, with the game Friday, do you do anything different now? I know it's day one of full practice, but how do you coordinate all that for Friday?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I want to get everybody on their feet, see what they look like. But I want to get as many players out there as I can on day one. I have to divide things up very carefully. I have to put qualified players based on MLB standards on the field. I have to put 4 or 5 of them on a field at a time. So I can't throw them all out there at once. I've got to chop it up accordingly. But I'm going to put a lot of the guys out there on Friday. We got to fast forward a few of the guys that are going to the WBC, and that is our entire infield and Alec Thomas. So you might see that group day one just to get them in some games and get them moving immediately.
Has the WBC
Has what?
Do you have a starting pitcher for Friday?
We do, but I don't know who it is yet. I haven't gotten that far. I mean, I gave you some great news yesterday. Like, you guys are getting greedy now. Yeah.
Does the WBC impact that rule about how many MLB players you have to put out on the field?
I've got a text out right now, so I'll find that out. So I don't know. So it might. I mean, 5 of our I don't know what it is. It's like 13 qualified players, or less. I think we got like 11 qualified players are getting taken away. I'm hoping so, because it's going to be It's going to be tough on the guys that I need to rest. So I'm not going to play everybody every single day, just to make sure we get that qualified number. So I think they will lower.
Does the extra at-bats for guys that might not have gotten them kind of make it advantageous for you as a manager to see those guys?
Totally. I love that. I live in that space. I want to give guys that aren't necessarily preparing for the season to get their bodies ready because they know what they need to do and they're going to be a starter. I love that type of player that's going to go out there and get some meaningful time in front of people, in front of the evaluators, our front office that are sitting in the stands, the coaches that are going to be able to teach them. It's a great time for me.
Did you go to Zach's wedding?
I did.
How was it?
It was great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'll say that. I'm going back to what I say to them when I see them off campus, that I'm not their manager for the weekend, so don't judge me. So there's a lot of good tequila, I'll tell you that. But it was a lot of fun. It was great. It's great to see the players in a different arena. You get a chance to spend time with their wives and other family members potentially, and you just have different conversations. It's not all baseball, all pitch selection, all at bats. It's just about life, and you get a chance to connect with them a little bit differently, and I enjoyed that time.
Torey, with a handful of new position guys on this team, how important is spring to kind of building continuity and those guys learning how to deal with each other on the field when you only can put 4 or 5 out there at a time? Yeah,
it's the number one. It's the number one piece of this puzzle that I'm most concerned with right now. I want these guys to start having conversations. I want there to be a trust between them, an unbreakable bond that is so strong that nobody or nothing can come between them. It's a series of opportunities for the opposition to rip you down, for the public to rip you down and tear you apart. So that is a very, very strong part of what I ask of these guys. And successful teams remain together. I've said it, a connected team is a dangerous team. So that was one of the things that I talked to these guys about today. And it's a little bit challenging because we're going to be missing some guys. But 3 of those 4 guys are going to be on one team representing their country. Nolan Arenado is already having those conversations with the rest of the guys. So I worry less about it, knowing that they've all had experience or they're going to the same place, but it's still a big piece of our puzzle.
How have you changed? How have you changed over the years with the kind of the line in the sand of complacency versus trusting your players versus panic versus creating urgency? Because not a lot of managers in 3 years have a couple games away from a world championship and a couple close calls but not getting in. So where are you, or how have you changed over the years?
Yeah, we've dealt with a lot here, right? And we're proud of what we've done, but we've come up short of the mark. So I continue to uphold my own personal standard, which is to do everything I can every single day for the good of the baseball players, and I only care about what happens inside of that clubhouse. I give less concerns about the things that I cannot control. I probably am less sensitive to things than I've ever been. I used to care about different things and relationships, and I do care about how a player feels, but I will risk hurting their feelings in order to get the most out of them. So challenging these players, being committed to these players, giving it to them straight, and making them get better under our guidelines and our standards.
Was that hard?
A little bit, yeah. I feel like I'm a pretty nice guy, right? Sometimes it's hard for me to turn into an a-hole, but I've learned how to turn into an a-hole instantly. Yeah, that's probably the biggest difference.
Torey, when it comes to the closer role, I know your favorite spring training question.
Yeah.
I know you already talked about Paul. Mike was talking earlier about some of the younger pitchers maybe not wanting to put them in a big role.
Yeah.
From day one. Have you guys identified who the candidates are, who the guys are that you'd be willing to consider?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably simple arithmetic for you guys to figure out. I'm just going to go kind of blind here, but Sewald, Ginkel, Thompson, all those guys that have had that experience in big moments, whether it be the 9th, I know Ginkel and Sewald have done it. RT has gotten some massive outs against the most important part of a lineup where they stack righties, so they're all wanting to do it. And what I've told every single one of them is there's 8 spots open and you got to go out there and earn it. I want you to have that earning mentality. Nothing's going to be handed to you. How it sits and where it goes, I don't know what that answer is. But yes, I do want to have that closer at the back end that I'm very well aware of that can come in and be unrattled and pound the zone with pitches. If you get beat, you get beat. But I don't want balls thrown in places where it results in base on balls. That drives me crazy. Put the ball on the plate. Don't be afraid of contact, and let your defense do the work for you. Believe in your stuff. So when I see a young pitcher do that, it's time, I might migrate him to a position of making the team A, and B, maybe getting some bigger outs on the back end. But I know I didn't really answer your question, but yes, I do like the guys that we have. I don't know what that means though right now.
You also have a couple of guys on staff joining WBC?
Yes, Rolando Valles is going to Team Venezuela. Gosh darn it. And Do we have anybody else? You guys probably know that more than I do. Do you know that answer? Is it Rolando?
I think Solano.
Solano for Team Colombia. And I don't know if that's it. I think so. I think that might be it. I don't think so. If it's different or if it's a longer list, I'll let you guys know. Yeah. We're very proud of our WBC participants. We answered this question, I think it was yesterday. I don't know. It was Groundhog Day. Were we at Chase yesterday?
Yeah.
We were at Chase yesterday. So Mike answered it perfectly. These guys represent their country. We're proud of them. We never get in their way. We like the intensity of the game, and we feel like it's going to maximize their potential to be ready for a season. Thanks, guys. Yes.
Sorry.
Huh?